Hello, 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 hello. Wherever you happen to be on this spherical planet we call Earth, I sincerely hope you are having a sensational day, even night, wherever you happen to be located. Welcome to my channel on Blender Topics. But if you're a 3D artist and have to be curious about Blender, using one of the other variants, please stay and gather some insights about Blender. My topic for the day involves the shading. I'm gonna show you what I have now. I just imported into my shader a simple image right here, a U, and there's U, as you can see over here to the far left, happen to be a transparency. That's why it is black right there, because it's transparent. So I do have another one that's fully a JPEG, but transparency. Let me put it back. All right, so up here in this window right here, where the U at, you see it's black. It's black because it's transparent, not because I have it on a black background. Okay, so our topic for the day is I want to be able to see if I can use those textures to manipulate my U. I was wondering about that. See, this is my first full year dealing with textures. I've grown a lot in this year of dealing with textures. Now my curiosity was saying, like, if I had a shape like this U right here, can I put a texture to it and make it still like a U, but it had that texture effect on there? I discovered, good people, I can use 3 of those textures to work, and I understand why the others don't work on there. So we're gonna delve right in right now and check it out. My first texture, I'm gonna go to add. I'm gonna choose my texture. I'm gonna choose a brick texture. Drop it right in, and you see right there, it's working. It's working. Now let's have to make some adjustments to it, like with the frequency. Nope, not with the frequency. With the squash, because I knew I had to use one of these things. So sorry about that. Yeah, it was mortar size, I think. Not mortar size. So let me keep playing around with it. Oh, bias. I think bias did it. Yeah, bias did it. And see, there we go. Now, if you look closely, this whole transparency has been filled with the texture. As you can see, the light, the reddish colored bricks. But the main bricks that had that U there, since it was an actual shape there, it wasn't white, it's not transparent, that's why it has the shape right there. So the brick with this bias, if I adjust the bias, can I adjust the scale? So I can adjust the scale. But this scale is affecting, as you can see, it's affecting this whole transparency. Because up here, you still see, in this area, you still see the brick. So that's what you have to keep in mind. Keep that in mind. The texture is really applied to the whole thing with that particular effect. This whole thing getting the brick effect. And since the brick effect, it is basically, rectangular, because I discovered the rectangular shapes, they work well with this. They work well with it. So we see that the brick thing does seem perfect. So let me jump on to my next one. I'm going to add texture checker. Remember, that's still rectangular in its design, but I have to do a lot of experimenting though. Right here, see, and the thing about it, because remember that U was that brownish color, but the texture has taken over the whole thing. That's still the U shape. Let me just switch this texture. Let me move the noodle to another one. Color. And now you see. But if you look at the background, as I said earlier, the background still has that texture because you see them little red lines in there. It's still there. So it's not just dealing with this particular, the U shape. But I really wanted to affect the U shape. But remember, the texture is really affecting the whole thing. Now let me scale it and see what happened now. You see, as I scale it, it's getting better and better. So I like that one. But it's really affecting the whole thing. And the reason we can see the U, because the U was that brownish color. The rest of it it can be white or transparent. Like I said, I'm using the transparency, but on my first design, I was using the JPEG. You know, a JPEG don't have no alpha channel. But you would get the same result if you was using that JPEG. The JPEG, my background was white, or whatever you want to have there, and it stayed the same. Alright, so. But I'm going to say, like I said, I'm learning my first year. I learn a little bit every day. Now you see my U is really, when I make the scale larger, it truly fills out that U shape. That's adding to my knowledge. Adding to my knowledge. Alright, so I'm done with this one. Now I can delete that. Now, I always want to go down the texture list. I'm not going to use the environment texture. Don't use that much. I only use gradient. I'm going to use the main one. I already have an image. The main texture that we use a lot in Blender. Magic texture. And before I hook it up there, I'm going to go to my I guess I don't. I got small. Like I said, now I can drag it out. Let me drag it down. Alright, I can zoom in. So I can zoom out. So I'm gonna take this and hook it up right here. So we see how this magic texture truly looks. Alright, hold on. Let me drag it right here. You see how. Alright, that's how the magic texture truly looks. Now, let's see how it look when I add my little image texture to it. I'm gonna hook it up right here. There, we see that. Let me make some adjustments to the magic texture, and we still see it has a completely different look. Remember, like I said, the whole texture is taken over. As you know about the magic texture, like I said, magic, it just scattered the stuff everywhere. But let me see if I go down. I'm gonna if I put the factor. Can I bring it down the factor? I have to hit the control key. The control key. Oh my god. I'm sorry, people. I'm having trouble with my little mouse. Having trouble with my mouse. I want to drag it down to factor. Hold on. I see it got a different line, but it's still not fitting that U. It's still, remember, this the basic design of the magic. Remember, you still see, we saw how the magic before, so the magic is going to stay with the design. It's not going to go into that U. It's not going to go into that U shape. So each texture is still going to have its basic design, its basic shape. So, but we see somewhat, it is forming a U to the best of its ability right here. See right here is forming a U shapes. Forming a U right there to the best of its ability. Here's another U. But it's not going to make the U like this. It's not going to do with that. It's not going to make that U. So we see what effect here, my little things. All right, so I'm gonna keep going on that list. But you see, it still have its own unique effect on it. Let me delete. I want to put it right close so I can see it. Alright, so I can get rid of the magic. I'm going to keep going on that texture list. Add another one. Texture. And I'm going to use the most common texture that we use in Blender. Musgrave. Let me hook it up. Vector. To vector. Height. So this may... See? But before I even do that, I like to do this first. Let me hook it up right here, so we can see what it looks. Musgrave looked like before I hook it into mine. See, there's Musgrave. It don't have no particular pattern. It's scattered all over the place. So keep that in mind. I wanted to fit into the U, but this is how the Musgrave pattern look. It is not clean cut like brick, like the brick texture. It's not clean cut like brick and checker. So now I can hook it back up to now I can hook this back up. Let's see what we can get out of this. Alright, but you see it's scattered. But I do see but even though I had that U shape, I still do see the U in certain spots. I see the U right here. I see that U shape right here, and you see it all over the place, but it's not the way I want to do it. But I guess I can't help that because Musgrave is being Musgrave. It's taking on its particular qualities. Let me just, I can adjust scale. I do that. I don't go to detail. You see that with detail, but it still has a unique look. So keep that in mind. When you add an image, it will give your texture a unique look. Because we saw how it looked in the beginning. This is how it normally looked. That's the normal Musgrave. Now, I should see it. Let me do something right here. I'm going to copy some of this stuff. Click on this. Annotate. I'm going to see if it's going to fill in this pattern right here. Let's see. If it's going to fill in that pattern with that brownish color. I'm just curious, people. I'm just curious. So, I'll hook it right here. Yeah, a little bit. But it's a slight change. But it still fit. But it still has its own unique pattern and design. And no matter what I do, it won't make the U shape that I wanted. It's obeying the rules for the Musgrave texture. See, it's sticking with Musgrave. But it's still, but keep that in mind, if you want to make some unique designs on them patterns, say, let me throw an image in there and see what I can get from that image. Okay, so I dealt with Musgrave. I can delete this one. Delete. Let me keep going on the list. Add texture. I deal with Musgrave. I'm gonna deal with noise now. Put noise in there. And noise is sort of unique. Noise. I'm gonna see what noise look like exactly. I'm gonna go for the color right now. There's noise. Now you can see there's noise. And it's basic design. So you know it's not gonna fit that U shape because you can see noise has like a cloud-like look to it. Let me see if I put it on factor. The factor may make it grayscale. Let me see. Yeah, see, factor just made it grayscale. So we know one thing about noise. Noise is good for making clouds. It has a cloud look to it. So let me keep going down my thing. Alright, so that's that. Let me see. Let me hook it up to color. Go right here. And let me hook BSDF right here to surface. And we see how it looks. It looks far different from that image. Now, this looks more like a rust or whatever. So, if you want to make rust, all you got to do is just throw any picture in there. Any picture. Any picture. See, like, look at that. Any picture. You can throw any picture in there. But it may be good to have a simple picture like I have. See, look at that. That looks more like it be. So now, distortion, it's like a weird rust or weird, like, animal skin or something like that. If you want to make an animal skin for a dinosaur, a crocodile, I throw musgrave in there. All right, so we done with, I'm sorry, we throw noise in there. That's the noise texture. So we done with noise texture. Let's keep going down our little list. I have texture. I dealt with noise. I'm still with point. I'm going to stay with some sky. Now, this is my favorite one, Verono. Verono, it has a rectangular shape, so it should work a little bit more better. It should fit that U shape with some assistance, of course. Now, let's see how Verono looked before. I like to put it into that. That's how, if you know anything about Verono, that's how it looked. Now, since it's going through that texture, it's going to look completely different. There it is right there. The color's gone. And here's the thing with the Verono. See, you see, all of them kept the color of my shape. So if you have something with various colors, it's going to match those colors. Like I said, it's only black because it's a transparency. Now let me just do some manipulation with it. So for Verono, I only can choose the scale. See, the scale change. I can make the scale a lot smaller. And random. But there's nowhere, see, it's lined up. You see, it looks rectangular. So I have to do some work with this. Let's see if I go to distance. So I hooked up the distance. Let me see what happened now. Now it looks more circular. See, that's an unusual pattern. See, it's like I'm learning a lot in I'm going on my second year learning about these patterns. I learned designs, put in an image. Now I'm going to try position. Let's see if I put it in position. What would that do for me? True. There we go. That's what I wanted. Like I said, I want to have a pattern. I want to use a texture, and I want to see if I can make the texture alter my U shape. For me, when I read this morning, I achieved what I wanted. It don't look like that actual U, but it looked like it's a U, but it got thrown off. See, it got thrown off. I achieved what I wanted. And the thing I like about it, see, if I want to add some, some gradients to it, all I would have to do is go around my texture and just lighten some of it up. I can that U I had, because you remember it was just one color. It was just orange or brown. So that's why it's solid brown. But I said, you can go into it. You can use GIMP, Photoshop, whatever, and adjust your image to create some light tones, or you can put a gradient in there. So I accomplished what I wanted. I wanted the U to look like something like this. And if you keep going, see, I get it like that. I do that some more. I got what I wanted for my design. A weird looking U, but it's still a U. See? I achieved my purpose. That's all I wanted to do today. Something like that. With the textures. So we see now these things. And the thing I like about the people, you didn't see me use no 40 or 50 or 60 different nodes. I didn't have to throw the math nodes all over. Because that's the main power of these nodes, math nodes. But you see, people, I just threw an image in, threw a texture in, and that was that. I had to do add, subtract. I didn't have to use the math node. I didn't have to say add, power, log. I didn't have to use none of that. All I just got is how many nodes that I'm using. I use the texture coordinate, my mapping node. I don't use the mapping node in case I want to move it around, like you see, like that. And the mapping nodes give it some more unique effect. You see that? The mapping node. See, that's why I use the mapping node for stuff like that. The mapping nodes, instead of using it, like, most of them videos, they show you how to use it. Add, subtract, and move things around. I just use the mapping node. See, I'm going to rotate it on my Z. That's all I use the mapping tool for. And I'm telling you, the reason why it's repeating, because it's a texture. It's repeating, and textures are particles that like to repeat. So, let me see my next shape. I think that's it, people. Oh, my last one, I want to choose wave. But I know the brick texture work, checker texture work, and Verona, that's my star. But let me keep going on this. Like I said, I'm gonna do that. What's that? I'm gonna do all. I said I'm gonna do all the most common textures. Wave texture. Drop it in. Hook it up. And then output. Right there. And I'm gonna hook it up right here. Let's see how the wave texture look by default. Okay, that's the wave texture right there by default. A bunch of distort it like that, etc., etc., etc. Now I'm gonna hook up my BSDF with the image I have, and let's see what comes out of it. You see right there, it kept the it's still using the wave texture, but it's using the colors of my image, which was brown, but it has the default nature of that wave texture. So if I distort it like I did earlier, you see that's my distortion. That looks good too, don't it? See, that looks good. I can make wood out of this. See, I think, yeah, for wave texture, we probably make wood for that a lot, somewhat. Let me see. Yeah, that's like a nice wood like feel, cause some parts are thick, some parts are thin. Yeah. Let me do with let me go in some more detail. And detail, when I go out some more, it makes it like noise. Oh, that looks good. That looks like an organic skin from a dinosaur. That looks like skin. See? That looks like skin from a dinosaur. Oh yes, I do it too. See, if I had my dinosaur, see people, I would make the background black. Then I would have my U, the color, like a grayish color for my dinosaur. Or I would make the dinosaur gray, and I'll make the color, the letter blackish. See, that looks like a good skin. But that like it can even be human skin. When you go down far enough, I did it with details, didn't I? Yes, I can make that human skin. Let me see how that look. Reference, give us its own little thing. Give it more like that tree-like effect. Yeah. So that's it. So we got a little texture to see what the wave texture can do. Now let's go to our last texture. Delete this one. Our last texture is called the what? Texture white noise. And white noise, that's real simple. I'm gonna put it up here, map and connect it. Then I'm gonna go to color, hook it up to this, and let's see what it look like. And that's the white noise. You can see that, right? You can see all them little dots in there. All them little dots, that's the white noise. You can't make no change to it. So when I hook it up, when I hook the BSDF, it's not going to make much change. The color may be scattered everywhere. Like the brown color, I'm just estimating. It may be scattered all over the place. Oh, no, it didn't. No, let me think. Wait. I got to hook this up right here. See, as I predicted, the brown color is the white noise. And it got scattered all over the place, and you can't make no adjustments. I can just change one dimension, make it look. I know the primary color, 2-dimension, which this plane is. I may put it back the way it was. I had to say right there, and 3-dimension and 4-dimension and so on. So let me go back to this. So let me see. And that's basically this. So thank you, my good people, for stopping by, being with me on my and see what the effect they would have on my U right there. See, my main texture that kept it as a U was my brick texture, my checker texture, and my Verona texture. And that was one I loved. The Verona was the effect that I had in my mind originally, or close to it. And I said, if you want to have different, a gradient effect, I'll just go around here and GIMP or Photoshop, whatever graphical program, whatever photo editing program you use, that's to sketch it around to make it more gradient like a. Thank you for stopping by. I like this. A 3D artist by trade. It's a hobby that I love doing. I'm an educator by profession, but I like doing this. And there's the pattern of my U pattern. I like doing this. For the new people, I like to keep saying to you all, Don't stop. Keep pushing every day, because I'm way ahead of what I learned last year when I start working with these shader nodes. I would never have thought like this. A year later, I see that I have grown. So you keep pushing, you keep going forward, and you keep growing. To the next time, been a family, through your family, peace.